Angry Birds assignment. You go into Desmos. If you're not sure how to get there, just type in Desmos into Google and it'll take you there. And you may need to find a Google image of an Angry Birds background for this. If you're in the course, you could just download the image that was provided to you. So in order to add this image, I'm assuming you've already downloaded it. We go into Add an Item, which is the plus button in the top left. Okay, and we go to our image. We're going to add the image at the very bottom, and it'll take me to in this case, the desktop of my computer. Depends where you've stored your file. And I want this image here, the Angry Birds background. So I have our Angry Birds background. Okay, and there's many ways you can set up this assignment. What I want to do, okay, is I want to move this so it's above the x-axis. Okay, and I want to be firing from the left, of the y-axis. Sorry. And depends where I want to fire from. I might want to create an object there. I'm going to put another image in. And you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use a happy face. I'm going to say that the happy face is firing on these birds. Okay, so you may have a slingshot provided to you or something, but the happy face will be, in this case, at -8. So I want my shots to go from the happy face, and I want them to hit these kind of piggies in here. Okay, and I'm going to use quadratics to accomplish this idea. So in order to do that, I'm going to use my one of my quadratic formulas. We can use vertex, standard, factor. I'm going to write in factor form. So if you remember factor form, it is ax minus r bracket x minus s. Okay, and we're going to create sliders for all of these. Okay, now I clearly need mine to be a negative a value. It needs to be going up and down to represent kind of gravity, pulling the shot down. Okay, and our r value is going to play with where the x-intercept is. So you'll notice our x-intercept at -5, my r value is -5, and as I move it, I want it to be at -8. Great, that's where my happy face is. Okay, and my s is the other x-intercept. You'll see as we move, right now s is 1, so its x-intercept is 1. This is why factor form is really easy to write this in. I'm going to move it so that it hits one of those little guys. Okay, and I was going to hit one at about 3.8. Let's try to get a whole number here. 5, perfect. Oops. And I can actually manipulate the number by actually typing it in. So it's kind of hitting that piggy there. Now, if you notice, it's got a very, very big arch to it. So what I might want to do is compress this a little. So I might want to make it 0.7. Oh, that's a little too much. But here we go. This looks like a little bit more realistic. Now as I compressed it, it's no longer hitting that pig I want. So I might actually have to go back to it. And depending on what your assignment's requirements are, you might be able to take very, very high arcing shots, or you might want to take low ones. But either way, here they are, and here are x-intercepts. Now, I might want to write that equation in. My a value is -0.8, so I'm going to replace a with -0.8. Okay, my r value was -8. So because it's x minus -8, I would actually type in +8. Okay, and that's hitting the happy face there. And because our s value is +5, it's actually going to become -5 there. And there we go. We now have an equation representing our the trajectory of our shot. And I want the shot to go from that happy face itself. So I have to connect a domain. I want to cut it from the x values. And the reason being I want to cut from the x values. I could cut from the y values and have it just stop at the x-intercepts, but I actually want it to stop at this piggy with the sombrero here. I want to actually hit him. So I'm going to need to use an x value because where it begins is going to be a little lower than where it ends. Okay, so I want it to begin at -8. So when I click in the line for the function, a little keyboard shows up here, and we're going to hit the ABC button. And to create domain range, we need to use these curly brackets here. So we turn on those curly brackets, and I use the value farthest to the left. So I'm going to start at -8. Okay, and then I need to hit 1, 2, 3 because I need to get to my less than equal to sign. Less than equal to the value of x because it's domain. And if you notice, it's now cut off the rest of the parabola. It's starting at just that happy face. And I want it to stop where it hits the sombrero. So, I don't know, about 4.83. Okay, so I need to duplicate what I did on the left there. I need to say that x is less than or equal to 4.3. Okay, if you notice when I don't have a value in, we have a warning. It doesn't understand because I haven't completed this. So the image of the quadratic or the graph won't show up until we complete this properly. So we got our 4.3. Oh, that was not a good value for us. Maybe I put it in wrong. 4.2. No, 4.4. 9. Oh, it must have been 4.82. 7. That's good enough. 8.8. Okay, so clearly I'd forgotten whatever the value was before, but this takes it far enough. So now you'll notice it's not hitting that last x-intercept there. It's cut off, so it looks like it stops and hits the piggy there. Now, in this, they might want you to write different equations. You might have to write a standard and a vertex form. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how you can put those in. Written down our factored form here, and then I converted it to standard and vertex in case you need to write all three. If you're not sure how to go from factor to standard or factor to vertex, you might want to look up some videos. There's many ways we can expand and then maybe complete the square from here. It completely depends what route you want to take. Okay, so let's say you've already done that. These are our equations we're going to put in. So we're going to go back to Desmos, and if you can see, I've already plugged them in here. And if you want to add a new expression, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can just click on some blank space, or you can actually click, and if I want to go directly below the 5th line here, I can put in an expression, and it'll give me a new line, and I can just delete it that way, okay? So either way, here are 3 expressions, okay? Now if you notice I only have the domain on one, I'll have to put it on all 3 of them to get them all to cut. But if you quickly notice, here's our blue function, and we have our vertex there, okay? When I put the red one, it overlaps it perfectly, which means I've converted it properly. And when I put our vertex form, the black one, it overlaps it properly, which means it has been converted properly. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste, and there we go. They've all been cut off the exact same way. I have 3 versions of that one quadratic that shows the trajectory of the Angry Birds.